Welcome back, Luxurious Fleet. Just a couple days ago, we were talking about the Landcruiser 300 and the updates and the news and all the rumors that we're hearing. Well, they keep pouring in, so I'm gonna keep talking about it. Today, we're gonna talk about the release window, potential pricing, new powertrain options that we haven't even discussed yet, and we also get rumblings of a Landcruiser Prado replacement. That could mean the GX third generation could be back on the table. Guys, if you enjoy my coverage on Japanese and Korean autos, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell icon, hit the like button while you're at it, and let's roll into the Landcruiser 300 over at Japanese scoop site Best Car Web. New Landcruiser, September 2021. Just a couple days ago, it was August. So I'm gonna say that we have a release window now, probably from about August to October, depending on what part of the world you're in. But I would say we have a pretty good idea of when it's gonna be, sometime in that time frame. And again, this is not coming to the United States as a Landcruiser. They're killing that option here in the United States. However, it will live on as the LX 600, and this information is very pertinent to that upcoming LX successor as well. And guys, just keep in mind, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, grains of salt are needed for today, but man, those salt grains taste so good. Here's a look of what they believe it's gonna look like. The windows cut down a little bit more into the door. The fenders are more squared off. You get this U shape below the grille, but the headlights and the grille itself look very similar. The expected body size is slightly larger than the current one. Total height is reduced by about 10 millimeters or a centimeter, contributing to improved off-road running performance. More importantly, the wheelbase will be extended about 50 millimeters. Okay, so 5 centimeters to improve driving stability and expand the living space in the room. I think that is hugely tailored for the LX 600. LX 600 is going to be larger than the current LX. This Landcruiser, it's based on the same vehicle, right, is going to be larger as well. Now they say that there's still going to be a 2-row, which is a 5-seater, and a 3-row, which is an 8-seater. Now from what I've heard, not these scoop sites, but from more of the horse's mouth sort of thing, I've heard that the rear seats fold flat into the vehicle. No longer are you going to have the jump seats that go to the side. Okay, into the really fun stuff, the powertrains. Power unit is expected to be equipped with a 3.3-liter turbo diesel in addition to a newly developed 3.5-liter and V6 turbo hybrid. So it's kind of hard to read. Remember, this is translated from Japanese. So they're saying 3.5-liter hybrid and V6 turbo hybrid. So 2 hybrids there. Now the 4.6-liter, which we only see in the Lexus GX here, is going to be replaced. So more than likely that V8 you can rest in peace here in the States anyways, but it will be available in other markets, Middle East, maybe Australia, things like that. The 3.5-liter hybrid will be combined with 4-wheel drive and turbo units. There is a strong possibility that one motor instead of a 2-motor system of other hybrid units. This is not the first time we've heard this. If they use the current hybrid setup that we see in the LS hybrid and the LC hybrid, that is still more of a traditional Toyota hybrid with 2-motor generators. However, that's rear-wheel drive focused. There is a drive shaft going to the rear wheels, whereas a lot of the all-wheel drive hybrids that we see, let's say the RAV4 Prime, for example, has an electric motor on the front axle and the rear axle with no drivetrain in between. Now, these are much sturdier vehicles. They need to have rear-wheel drive bias and very, very capable all-wheel drive, not front-wheel drive bias. So they are going to have a drive shaft connecting propulsion systems, the engine, the electric systems in there, to the rear wheels. Now, they're going to do that either, like I said, direct shift with some physical gears in there, or if they go down to one motor, like Best Car is saying here, they're claiming one motor. That is, in my opinion, the most wise way to go, because it allows you to use a real 10-speed transmission or whatever they want to put in there, but a real transmission. You don't have to use the direct shift, which has like a CVT and 3 physical gears in there with a final drive gear. It's kind of confusing. I think it would make a lot more sense for them to have a really large electric motor in between the transmission and the combustion engine to assist and allow you to keep a real sturdy, girthy, strong automatic transmission for these heavy-duty vehicles. Now, the juiciness isn't over. 3.3-liter turbo diesel is also considered to be combined with a hybrid and is expected to be released in the near future. My goodness. Now the four-wheel drive mechanism will be a newly developed in a full-time system, but details have not been clarified. If it is going to be newly developed, to me, that feels like a step away from the direct shift setup that we see in the LC and the LS. In terms of equipment, display audio will be standard, woohoo, and the navigation screen will be an adoption of the large 12.3-inch screen from the conventional 8 inches. Well, we already have the 12.3-inch in the current LX, but it will be definitely a higher res, God willing, a higher res screen, better camera systems, etc. Now pricing will increase by more than 500,000 yen. That's roughly $10,000, starting from 53 million yen, about 50,000 US dollars. Now, based off this rendering here, I don't know if we're going to get the tailgate on the next generation. It looks like it could just be a big hatch, which I really love the tailgate in the current LX. It's always had a tailgate. Now, range topping, they're expecting about 6.9 million yen, which is probably more like $65,000. But we know here in the United States, the Land Cruiser is like $85,000. Now they're saying, like I said, 500,000 yen increase, about $10,000 increase. That would put the Land Cruiser at 95,000, which, if they brought it here anyways, is cutting straight into the Lexus LX's price range. So I think that's another big reason they're canceling the Land Cruiser. Not only does it not sell well, it gets outsold by the LX here in the States. And then when you talk about the price increase, it just makes even less sense. Just keep it simple, keep it to the Lexus LX, and focus on that here in the United States. Now, what's happening with the Landcruiser Prado? Well, they just updated it for 2021. Make sure to watch that video. But the Lexus GX seems to be still stuck in time. Well, the LX too. No Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Is that too much to ask? Absolutely not when you're spending 60 plus for a GX or, 90 plus for an LX. So here are the dimensions. They don't mean much to me, but what does it mean? It is one size smaller than Landcruiser 300. Of course it's going to be smaller. The height is high and the living space in the room is large. While the current GX and even the previous GX, aka Prados, very narrow, very tall. I would expect it to be very similar, maybe a little bit longer this time around as a result for the larger room that they are expecting on the inside. Of course, they're going to have a 5-seater 2-row, 7-seater 3-row. Now, they're getting rid of the 2.7-liter gasoline and they're upgrading the 2.8-liter turbo diesel. So they're replacing the 2.7-liter gasoline with a 2.5-liter hybrid. That's the same hybrid system, unless they got to change it somehow because it's got to be an all-wheel drive setup. The 2.5-liter hybrid system is, let's say, in the Lexus ES, which has a 2.5-liter inline-4 hybrid. It's got like 215 horsepower. They're going to have a larger battery, definitely rear-wheel drive focused with an all-wheel drive system. So you'll have a traditional drive shaft, hopefully one electric motor. For simplicity's sake, I think it makes a lot more sense than the MG1 and the MG2 and the multi-stage setup. But a 2.5-liter hybrid, maybe that's turboed. I doubt it, but I really don't know how they're going to implement that such small of an engine with electrification, unless electrification in it is much, much stronger than we see in current applications of the 2.5-liter hybrid setup. And we get some testimonies from Metropolitan Toyota Store sales representative. Oh yes, give me the juicy rumors. Landcruiser 300 was initially planned to go on sale around September of 2020 and was under development. However, due to corona sickness, remember, translations here, it became impossible to test run overseas, and it seems that it has been decided to extend it by 1 year. Originally, overseas markets such as the United States, Europe, and the Middle East and Asia are the main models, so local test driving is essential. Currently, it seems that it has started in the Middle East, but since Europe is not yet settled, it is not possible, so there's a possibility that will be getting postponed even further. The next model will have a completely new platform, power unit, 4-wheel drive, suspension, etc., so it needs to be checked carefully. And we know Toyota, especially with the Land Cruiser, especially with their most sturdy built, most reliable, focused vehicles, they test the heck out of them. Guys, they've been testing the next Land Cruiser now probably for 5+ years off the TNGA platform. Remember, TNGA first debuted in the 2016 Toyota Prius. And this TNGA F platform, which is a new truck platform, the Tacoma, the 4Runner, the Tundra, the Sequoia, the Landcruiser Prado are all going to share, the Hilux and the Fortuner for that matter, are all eventually going to share this TNGA-F platform. It's a lot more modular than the outgoing platforms. It's going to allow them to reduce cost and improve a lot of things along the way. But as we know, they're not rushing it. We here in the United States are likely to see the TNGA-F platform first unveiled in the next Tundra, so late 2021. Fingers crossed we would get the LX 600 around that time. And now no trademarks have been made on the LX in terms of hybrids yet. All we've got is LX 600. So if we go to my TNGA F platform powertrain spreadsheet, guys, you knew I'd do the spreadsheet today. You knew it. You knew it. I added a new section here. But I was just talking about the LX 600, and I think the base engine is going to be the 3.44 V35A FTS with the 10-speed auto, 400 horsepower, 450 pound-feet of torque. That's my guess. It's not that much different than what we see in the LS 500's V35A. We're getting a new diesel hybrid. Unfortunately, I don't expect it to be here in the States. That Best Car web says they're expecting new clean diesels. It is possible we could see some clean diesels here in the United States as long as they're extremely clean. But no one's been able to figure out clean diesel yet. But I've made a video when I had my direct shift video talking about all Toyota's new engines coming out, that they have patented tons of things when it comes to clean burning diesels and possibly even cleaner burning gasoline engines. So we'll see about that. But diesel hybrid here that they just talked about could be coming for the next Land Cruiser. It could be the direct shift, or it could be a 10-speed auto, depending if they want to go with the 2 motor generator setup or 1 large one, which I would prefer, to be honest. And then we know this engine is going to have about 250 horsepower. How do we know that? Well, I extrapolated the numbers from the most recent 2.8 liter turbo 4-cylinder that we see in the Hilux and the Fortuner. We get 250 horsepower plus the 177 horsepower from the electric motor. At least that's the electric motor that we see in the direct shift models. It could be girthier than that. I love using girth. With a 230 horsepower motor, that would, again, take it with a grain of salt. These are my hypothesis here. But I feel like they need to have a little bit more electrification than the electrification we see and the LS and the LC hybrids. So I would expect a minimum of 320 horsepower combined in that 3.3 turbo diesel hybrid with well over 500 pound-feet of torque. Yet to be seen, nothing's confirmed, but those numbers are definitely capable from Toyota and their electrification. Possibly even more if they want to add a larger electric motors, larger battery packs, that sort of thing. And if you missed my video earlier this week, we have the turbo V6 with electrification. That's going to get us over 500 pound-feet of torque, almost 500 horsepower. I could see that being in like an LX 700H or whatever they want to call that. And they are going to have the standard 3.5 liter hybrid setup that we see in the LS and the LC hybrids. So those numbers are already set in stone. So you could definitely keep these numbers, but it would make sense for me if they're bringing the GX back for a new generation, which I'm not hopeful on. I actually feel very strongly that they're canceling the GX and going with that TX trademark that they just trademarked here in the past month or two. But that vehicle could still use this hybrid setup, and they could have a 3.5 liter multi-stage hybrid, no turbos. That would get us 354 horsepower, which is a step up from the 302 horsepower and the 4.6 liter V8. Definitely a lot more torque, almost 370 pound-feet of torque, which is a big step up from the current V8. Again, I think that's around 320, 325 pound-feet of torque in the 4.6 liter V8. Massive fuel economy bonus, maybe 25 miles per gallon. And better yet, if they put a larger electrical motor with it, we could see even more power, more torque. So we'll see. Nothing is confirmed. It makes me so happy to make speculation videos. It makes me excited to talk to you guys about it, because when we get the products, all the excitement is let out of the balloon. There's no more secrets at that point in time, really. And the anticipation, the hype train, maybe I'm creating an own hype train because Toyota doesn't create a whole lot of hype. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it this far in the video, have not pressed the like button, go and do that. Subscribe. I would love to get to 100,000 subscribers before the end of the year. We got a long way to go, as a Lexurious Fleet, and every day is just so much fun to hang out with you guys, talk about upcoming products, current products, reviewing. I'm currently reviewing a TRD Avalon. I pretty much just finished up the review yesterday. Like the car, has a lot of faults, has a lot of pros at the same time. Who would have thought that Toyota would make a freaking TRD Avalon? Did anyone at any point in time ever ask for that? But anyways, I'll save my opinions for the review. And yeah, guys, take care of yourselves. Have a great day and peace out.